going on YouTube? So welcome to the first video here at UTY. We're going to be doing a full breakdown of our trading as well as going over this week's trading breakdown and the setup. This is the first video on this channel. Do excuse my talking and if you don't understand something I say because I just had double jaw surgery, so it's a little bit hard to talk. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. So main thing we're looking at is, first of all, I want you guys, I know the elephant in the room is our strategy breakdown in this thing right here. Let's not get too into this, right? So I played with 75 contracts, made about $7,000 in the day. I was trading with $31,000, right? 75 contracts, that's a lot. I get that for most people. Now, let's not get into the big numbers because the same thing you do to make $5 in the market, all you have to do is just size up, play more contracts, and you can start making $1,000 a day, $10,000 a day, right? It's what can you take as a risk and what can you handle? What's your appetite for risk, right? And also, don't be an idiot and start trading off the bat, ego trading with 30 contracts, 10 contracts. You always want to start with 3 to 5 and then slowly work your way up. With that being said, let's get into the trade. So this day was 321.23, right? Now the biggest thing I want to talk about here today is why enter the trade, and then also look into our time frame and confirmation. A lot of people enter trades and they're not sure what time frame to watch, stuff like that. For me, I always wait for the second candle to close under or over my level. So if I'm playing a support resistant breakout, I'll wait for a candle to close above. So it'll be 2 candles before I get in to calls. If we were here and we break this, I would wait for 2 candles to close above before I enter my trade. If we were here and we're at this demand zone, I would wait for 2 candles to close before I enter my trade setup. Now what this does is it helps me eliminate as much fake outs as possible, and it also helps me keep calm and hold my trades, right? So why did I enter the trade? Demand zone. First thing I want to talk about is this right here. Why did I make this box? How did I make this box, right? So how do we know where to make the bottom of the box? How do we know where to make the top of the box? This is the most asked question when we're trading supply and demand. Now, the reason I trade demand zones is usually there's a bigger move up than trading from one resistance to another or trading from a support down to another support, because a demand zone has more buyers and a supply zone has more sellers, right? With that being said, the bottom of this box, I guess a rectangle you can call it, I made because I see a wick here. I see that we've wicked here, which I didn't see this today, right? So I just see this. So I pretty much just made the wick from here, and then why did I make the wick right here? So I see this level held right here. I see this touch and hold right here. I see here we held, here we held, here and here. So overall, this is a great demand zone. So I kind of just had this to start out with, and then I drew this whole thing in throughout the day, right? Or I kind of played that throughout the day. So following that setup, I'm looking at wicks on a candlestick. So what does that mean? So we opened up around 386-ish, 385, 80, right? Can't get the exact levels, but that's where we opened up. Once we opened up, I'm watching my zones, right? So I did not have this box right here drawn, this rectangle, yes. So I didn't have the rectangle drawn because I don't know that's my resistance. I don't know that's my high of day. But once I see this buying pressure come in, I was already looking at calls, right? So I'm looking at 388 calls, 390 calls. I'm looking at, oh, we're gonna break this and we're gonna keep pushing higher. Now, I see this candle right here. Let me make this smaller. So I see this candle right here. This candle has a big body. Wicks are not big, but then I see the second candle. I always talk about wait for a stock to make a higher push up, I guess. So I saw that this got taken out. I was going to enter maybe the next candle, or I usually like to see high of day, I retest and not get in. Because I don't know if this is the high of day. I don't know if this is the high of day. I don't know if this is the high of day. So that's one thing. Second thing, I started drawing this box. Soon as I saw this wick right here, I knew, okay, that could be my potential high of day. I'm not saying that's my high of day. I'm saying that's my potential high of day. Because as easy as this thing hit and came down, we could have just as easily hit this, came down, and then just broke out, right? That happens actually a lot in trading. With that being said, first thing you could have taken today would be you could have taken a put entry here, wait for the second candle. So count with me, 1, 2. So somewhere in this candle, you could have taken an entry because you see it close below again. So the second candle below, now we take a put entry, right? You always want to wait for that second candle. Second thing, these wicks right here are telling me there are not many buyers at this level. Now, I don't know how low this can go. We did not take this trade, right? Another thing, so kind of following that setup, now we see this thing rebound. Let me try to make this better. So we see this thing break. We see us rebound, we're holding here, and then we get this push back up. There is no reason to enter anywhere here right now. So far, there is no reason to think, okay, this thing pushed up, this is a pullback, now this thing's gonna go higher. There's no reason to enter until we break above this and we hold on the 3 minute or the 5 minute, right? So I didn't get faked out because of that. I didn't get into any position. I stayed cash for the most part, right? So what that means then, once again, a wick, right? What is that telling me? That's part of my trade. Wicks on candlestick, meaning I see another wick at a supply zone. What is that telling me? There's sellers again. Second candle, boom, we're getting sellers again. Now we push down even lower than the last low, right? So I'm just reading candlesticks here. I'm not doing anything crazy. I've established that this is my high of day, and so far that's proven to be right. Now, this thing pulls down. I don't know that this is my support. I don't know that yet, but this is my low of day. Now, with that being said, we got a lot of buying pressure. We got bought back up. Once again, I was looking for this to break, or I was thinking I'm gonna play the rejection. So now 1, 2, once again following this kind of same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We held this, right? So same thing here. I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4. With this being pushed back down again, and I see another wick, now I know that this is probably not gonna break today, right? So with that being said, I want to take a short position. I got into puts here. This right here is a call. So that's the trade I'll show you after. But this position I gave out to our Discord members. I think I had like a $2,000 win. It wasn't anything crazy. But we got into puts, I believe, at this candlestick right here. Held these. The reason I never got out of the trade. Now, another thing that we talk about is follow setup, your stop, and your profit. What that means is I got in this trade on the second candle, correct? So once I get in, there's no reason for me to exit this trade until my high of day hits, because that's my stop loss. If my stop loss is here, there's no reason for me to get out just because I'm losing money a little bit, right? A lot of traders, that's what they mess up, and they think that once they're in a trade, a winning trade is being a profit. But your P&L will go from negative $100 to being positive $300. Sometimes it'll be ridiculous and then it'll bounce back. But you always want to follow your plan. If this candlestick had formed another 3 minute and had touched this, I would be out the trade. But I stayed in my trade because I'm seeing and I'm following my setup. Another thing, my take profit was at this low, because actually it was at this low, because I'm seeing that, okay, this is possible for us to touch this level again, but I'm more likely to touch this, right? So I already have a 1 to 2 risk to reward set. That means that I'm, for every dollar or every dollar I make or every dollar I lose, I'm making $2, right? So with that principle being applied, this is a good setup for me now. I know I want to enter the trade. I get into the trade. We made about $2,000 or so, like I said. Didn't go super heavy. I wasn't looking to play anything crazy. Now we go into this trade. So this trade kind of came into mind. The main reason why I got into this trade was, once again, we have our demand zone, right? So I'm seeing these push lower. I'm thinking to myself, I'll actually get into more contracts if this level doesn't hold. I'm thinking, okay, I'll enter more trades. I'm thinking that market is very weak today. It already, it's rejecting this level many times. Why did I get into this trade right here, right? So the main reason I got into this trade was, once again, instead of waiting for 2 candlesticks, I waited for 3. So we count this candlestick, this candle right here. It is a very small candlestick. It's undecisive. I don't count this as a candlestick in my opinion, because it has a lot of buying and selling pressure, and the body is tiny, right? So with that being said, I entered actually on this candle right here. And yeah, for a lot of people that might look like a late entry, but this gives me more confirmation to stay in the trade than me entering here or here. Yes, I could have a better stop, but I'm more likely if I get in here for this thing to push up than me getting in here and then it's just to reject back down again. So with that being said, I got into calls here. My entry was 3.24 and got out at 3.62. Amazing. We held this thing. I believe I started out with 45 contracts. Once we were above VWAP, I added a few more. I did not get out here just because it looked like a pullback, and also we had this level established from earlier. So did not get out. Kind of held my contracts, added 35 more, I believe, or 30, and then we had a 75 full position. Set that. I got out here. Another thing I want to talk about is, when did you exit? Like, a lot of people ask, when do you exit? If I'm approaching a level that rejected throughout the whole day, what's more likely to happen, right? Kind of logical. I'm more likely to reject this level again and come back down. So instead of giving away a lot of profit, and yes, I could have caught this whole move, right? But instead of catching this whole move, I would rather be able to catch this much of the move. So with that being said, I got in here. I got out at this candlestick right here. The main reason I got out now was I was approaching that demand zone or that supply zone from earlier, right? So that's kind of the whole trade setup that we took here. Played demand zone, we played the wicks on the candles, and then we were following our setup. Now, there were two setups on this chart like we talked about. You could have played this rejection. You could have also played this hold and bounce, right? So either way, you could have made money. There's more than one way to make money on the same exact chart. So there's always opportunities coming into the market. And with that being said, I also want to jump into the last thing of today's lesson is, don't be afraid to go to a bigger time frame. A lot of traders stick to the 15-minute. Maybe they'll do the 30-minute, but most traders, I see them fiddling with the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 3 minute charts. Don't be afraid to go to the 1 hour, go to the 4 hour chart and actually look at your levels, right? So what I mean by that is, this right here is the hourly chart, right? This right here is the hourly chart. I zoomed all the way out. Usually this is what I do every Sunday, and we also send out our watch list. Link is in the description. You can check out. We send you all of those for free. We send you everything you need for the week. FOMC meetings, we send you all of that, what's going on in the market. But get back to our lesson. We held here. We did not do anything here. We held here. We rejected here. We broke out here. We rejected, right? So a lot of people are going to ask me, oh, how did you make this level? How did you find this level? If you back out and you look at the bigger time frame, now I'm seeing this level is holding consistently, right? So what's more likely to happen here where I got calls? Or what's more likely to happen if I enter puts here? What's more likely to happen? The market's more likely to push itself down because it's done that in the past. So this is a very strong level. I have a higher probability of winning this setup. As a trader, your main thing is probability, right? It's a probability game, which means, what are my chances of this thing breaking out, right? If this thing's rejected multiple times, it's probably not going to break out. If this thing is coming up to this, I should not be greedy. Another thing, psychology. You have to think, if this thing's approaching, what's going to happen? A lot of people are not going to be able to hold through all this. Why? Because it's better to get out. What would have happened if you held your contracts and this thing rejected and came back down hard again? Would you not feel stupid then if you knew that this level rejected the whole day, but you guys are thinking to yourself, oh, this might break out, because you're not thinking the psychological effect behind trading? So with that being said, that's today's lesson. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you have any questions, you can either DM me on Instagram at Parsant_YouPretty, or you can shoot me a comment down below or anything like that. Also, you can join our Discord. It is completely free for all members. I'm on voice chat every single morning with the team. Feel free to join then. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy the first video. Please do share. I appreciate every single comment we get. I appreciate every single like we get. I appreciate you guys, giving me feedback, good or bad. Tell me what I can work on. And thank you guys for watching.